Patternmaster, well, when I first became involved with Patternmaster was about 1993. And one of my partners, Mike C., he had an idea about controlling patterns without constriction. And he brought this choke tube to us that he had made with some set screws and lock nuts and things on it. It looked a little gnarly, but we shot it, and you know, it actually looked like it did something. So I was working at a machine shop at the time along with my other partner, Jerry Poe, and we started working on this and started trying different ways, because nobody's going to buy it with 4 set screws sticking out of it. Way to make it marketable, and still for it to work. We had a lot of trial and error. We made little studs. I mean, they were 12 thousandths high, and I mean, very tedious things. And we put them around in the circle and put a metal sleeve over the top of them to hold them in place. And that worked okay, but it just was too time-consuming and not practical for production. And finally, we agreed upon the broaching system, where when you machine it, you leave a ring totally in the inside. We have a special made brooch that we've had made up, and we can pull that through, and it will cut out everything but 5 small blocks around the inside. And that seemed to work very well, although it was not real consistent at first. And Jerry Poe and I worked on it. We worked on it some more. We worked together every day. And we found by putting some certain tapers on the inside that we got it to be much more consistent, and it'll work better. We really was not sure why this did what it did. And when we thought it was grabbing a hold of the front part of the wad and separating it. But as I made the first cutaway, probably in '96, and the cutaway, what I'm referring to is this portion here, where we cut it away so you can see what's on the inside. And now, with having a wad in there, and you push the wad through, you can see that it's not the front part that catches, it's the base. And then it started making sense. What we were doing is we were letting everything exit and holding the wad back for that microsecond, and everything would go out in one little unit rather than stringing out like a tapered choke would do. Everything started, and from that point forward, we realized that we can do other things with this. We realized that this length right here would give us an extra full pattern. But the shot string would be very short. And that's because when the base of the wad hits that, everything is still inside. So everything just exits and it just stays together. Well, everybody doesn't want a full or extra full choke. So how are we going to make this thing open up, shoot a bigger pattern, but yet keep that short, dense shot string? So we went back to the drawing board, and we decided that let's cut part of that off to get back into the back toward the stud ring. And when we did that, what happens when the wad came out, now we have 1/4 to 1/2 of the wad out the front of the tube, opening up, throwing shot in a larger pattern this way, but still separating the wad and keeping it short this way. Well, that was great, so we took it one step farther. And we found out if we cut it all the way back to that ring inside there, most of the wad is already out the front of the choke, opened up, throwing shot in a larger pattern, but still separating the wad and keeping it short and dense. So at that point, we had a equivalent to a full or an extra full choke. We had equivalent to a modified choke, and we had equivalent to a cylinder or improved cylinder, but we still had all the Patternmaster technology. I think probably in the 90s someplace they start coming up with a 3.5-inch ammo. Well, it has longer wad inside. So we started making the extended tube, which would be like this right here. The reason we make the extended tube is so we can still get the full to extra full patterns with the longer wad. Everything is still inside when it separates. If you shoot the 3.5 through this length, it's going to give you more like a modified, improved modified, because you're going to have some of the wad out the front opening up when it comes out. So we learned how to get much more versatile with it. And that's pretty much how Patternmaster works.